when we talk about groundwork with a horse, we want to make sure they don't come into our space, whether we're by the shoulder of the horse, if we're by the hindquarters, or if we're in the front of them. So I always think about the horse is not allowed to ever come forward into my space if I don't want them to. And she's never allowed to leave, essentially go forward, unless I ask her to. So it's also fairly important that the horse then knows how to go back away from us, okay? So when we think about groundwork with a horse versus showmanship, there's a little bit different style in how we ask the horse to back up. So this is more about stay out of my space. So we can ask a horse to back up. There's a number of different ways to do it. Preference, some people like to use a flag, some people maybe like to use their hands. You could again use your lead rope. Some people will shake a lead rope. There's all sorts of different ways to get the horse with the idea of back away from me. Again, the idea is this horse can never go into my space. So at this point in time, the way I'm standing says, Barbie, I don't want you to come forward, and any bit of forward motion would get corrected by sending her backwards. But for me to be able to use sending her backwards as a correction again, she needs to know to go ahead and move back. So there's, again, some different ways, and we'll go through a few of these here. I could use a flag that I can ask her to back up if I use that flag. So you notice as soon as she took a step backwards, I stopped. So again, if I'm using a flag, when she takes a step back, this stops. Okay, that's the key. The reinforcement for the horse is me stopping that. So that I can teach her to stay away from me. Okay, so again, it's fairly important that they learn to stay away. There's other ways to do that. Again, people have preferences for how they like to train a horse to back up. So I can also, if I just want to use my lead rope, I can use swinging that lead rope in a circle, again, to ask her to back up. This time she's going to have to figure out that I want her to go straight back away from me. So I can also ask her to back away from me by using a little bit of pressure with that lead rope and let her figure out that the answer is somehow she's got to go back. Good girl. And when she backs up, I stop what I'm doing. So again, I can use voice. I need to be in front of her for her to figure out that I want her to go backwards. Good girl. And I always stop what I'm doing the minute she figures it out. Good girl. Okay, so I can just use some sort of pressure with a lead rope. So that's a way that you can ask the horse to back up. Some people prefer to use where you actually will wiggle the lead rope under the horse's head, so to speak. So if I'm going to use this method, what I would do is wiggle this lead rope, and the minute she takes a step back, you see how I stopped. So lots of people prefer different ways to do this, but the key is always that I stop what I'm doing the minute the horse tries or makes an attempt to back up. And that's going to get them more and more responsive as I go. So I always want a horse that if I am working on something with it and it moves into that space that I have, or she starts to go forward when I didn't ask her to, I need her to clearly understand that she should be backing up, okay? So a lot of groundwork is also getting that horse used to the idea you can't go forward unless I tell you to go forward. So this might be a correction that I would use with her to send her back away from me if she got into my space.